Yo guys, what is up? It is Teacher's Game 2 coming at you again with another video here, and I am here right now to show you how we have done ourselves a red OSD drop on the MTS servers. Now, as I'm sure you're probably figuring out at this point, we are not the only tribe here. So what we did is we actually brought in a bunch of Reapers and came in with 3 of our buddies on Gigas, and then another tribe with another couple of Reapers as well. Now, the big reason that we came in with this many creatures is actually pretty easy. You get trolled on these drops when you're playing a PvP server like there is no tomorrow. I wish that was a joke, but we actually got trolled the second we finished this thing. I have that in a different video because you'll notice that this is the OSD drop that we do. There's also an element vein that we do that's right next to us, and now, for lack of a better word, we go over do that, and somebody, I don't know exactly what they did, but their Gigas were like 20 points better than the Gigas we had, and they were doing, to my Reaper, give or take, 4,000 damage a shot. You can see right now, 54,000 health. That's insane on a Reaper. It's pretty good. You can get higher than that, but it's not always the case. A lot of this boss fight, unfortunately, not boss fight, this OSD drop, we spend time looking for the tames, because that's probably the most pain in the butt part of this thing, is that you are literally looking for the leftovers, because it gets really crazy really fast, and then you look for the last couple. I'd also like to bring up the fact that my Reaper is just absolutely beautiful. I mean, you can see it. Now, the strategy is pretty simple. These Gigas do not do enough damage to our Reapers to justify us being afraid of being bit by them. You'll actually see me kind of like go up right next to the Reaper and the Giga and get bit by it, and it does like 200 damage. It's not much. However, the Gigas that come and troll us in the end of this video, we're doing 2,000 a pop, which is just nuts. Now, because it has 100,000 health, these drops are much easier to hit and get away with it. You can let things like Carnos and stuff through, but you just want to be careful of all the other stuff. You'll notice the first couple waves, no Wyverns, which is really what the Reapers are for. The reason you have Reapers in general is so that we can actually play anti-Wyvern. You'll see me snipe a couple out of the air later on. And that's because the secondary attack of a Reaper is a thing that knocks any airborne creature out of the sky. Now, it's really hard to use in PvP, otherwise it'd be much more effective, but that's kind of just how it works. Oh well. Now, we're not in the hot area of the zone, but you can notice there are some super pretty Reapers nearby. I actually level up my Reaper health a little bit more because this is just meant to be a tank Reaper. The other Reaper that we have is actually a lot more Giga-esque. It can do about 750 percentage damage, and it's still got like 40k health. Mine is more of just the tank. You'll see why that's so helpful in a second here. But again, we are doing this on MTS, and we're running this with some of our buddies. Some PvE is always a lot of fun. And when you've got these big circles, it's crazy. Like you're seeing right now. Look at that, just Reaper chaos. Now, you'll notice I level up again. I get mine, I believe, into like 58,000 health is what I've got on this guy by the end of it. And look how pretty it is, though. Like that white color is super cool looking because it's the albino turkey event, which is pretty neato. Now, these 2 that are with us are actually painted, even though they're super pretty. Like that black and red and the black and blue is super cool looking. The Gigas still have like 50 points of melee, so they're pretty good. You just heard the wave go off. And this is where the Wyverns start showing up. Now, first off, look how pretty that one is. That cyan color. Oof. That is a pretty Giganotosaurus. You'll also notice that I take a few screenshots throughout this thing because it's just like kind of hilarious the amount of power we have. Now, here's the even more ridiculous part. How fast we got clapped. We have 11 giant tames by the end of this. Just monsters. And 2 dudes, just 2, and Giganotosaurus wrecked our day. Just wrecked us. but oh well. Now, you can see these Reapers just cause some chaos. Here's some Spinos. Nothing super dangerous comes in the first couple of waves. The only real danger is that they are high level. Some get in the excess of like 300s. You can see the Wyverns starting to show up now. Unfortunately, I'm not really focusing on Wyverns at this moment in time. There they are. See my buddy try and take them out. However, if you use the secondary attack, boom, knock them out of the sky just like that. Now, with that secondary attack, what's so neat about that is you knock them out of the sky, and they can't use their fire threat, they can't really do any serious damage, and they attack really slow. So, if you can bring a couple of Reapers, it does some big time help. Which is kind of nice. Obviously. Now, we're just sitting over here, sorry, a little bit sick still, pulling things off of the drop. And it's just pure chaos. But I mean, look at how much cool power we have for this drop. It's just nuts. It takes us a total of 20 minutes, and it's not because this was something that took us a long time. It's just, like we see right now, at the end of the drop, it can be difficult to find the remaining tames. Now, again, up to 56,000 on my Reaper. You'll see it's named Squishy because it's, well, it's meant to soak. So I figured Squishy was a reasonable name. The one thing you want to be careful about is really the ones that do the most damage to these drops is players. So as long as you're pretty careful, you're probably fine, which is kind of like a funky thing. So we've got a dude on a Wyvern, which gets one tapped later on. We got 5 Reapers, 3 Giganotosaurus. It's just a ton of stuff that we have, which is pretty cool. Now, there it is. Dimorphodons. They're super hard to see, but if you can catch them, they're one of those tames that are left. Now, again, like I told you, one of the hardest things about this boss fight is that, not boss fight, I keep saying boss fight, it's just like a high-level OSD drop, is you kind of just sit here and you watch, like you're seeing right now, because the tames that are left just take a while. Like two hostiles, but they get stuck on rocks all over the place, which is obviously a big pain in the butt. Now, this is probably one of the things after us, so I go ahead and go after it. And then we have one more after this. Now, you are going to notice that the amount of tames that we have here is a bit excessive. You could probably reasonably do this with 2 really good Giganotosaurus and 1 Reaper, if you had to. And there's another one. So, you can see that we've got a lot of power here. And you want to be careful about Reapers because they can do a bunch of damage just by stepping on the drop itself, which can obviously be problematic. Now, again, we're just sitting here waiting for this to be over, basically. Now, our one teammate jumps up on his Reaper. He's putting a little bit of a metal ring around this just in case, because sometimes you can block off some tames pretty well, which is convenient. Now he makes a pass so that Giganotosaurus can get inside as well. You can also see that element drop over in the distance. It's a really easy thing to run, actually. Obviously, you're probably sitting here thinking, man, these guys brought a lot of power. Of course it's easy to run. Yeah, of course. We could probably run quite a few waves on a purple drop as well. But the really reason that we brought this many tames, we were planning on running like 6 or 7 of these, but getting trolled by people with 20 points better at Giganotosaurus is not a good thing. Only 1 hostile remaining. And I don't know where it was. I think we all go hunting for it though. Now, again, if you wanted to do a red drop, it's totally doable with just 2 or 3 dudes. The real concern though is if you only have 2 or 3, is if the Wyverns manage to make it in the sky for a long period of time, it is really, really, really hard to take them down with the Giganotosaurus if they're just flying high. Because catching them can be such a big pain in the butt. Now, it's not too big of a deal, but you'll notice we get that last one there, and we advance 1 more wave. I try and get inside, and embarrassingly it doesn't work too well for me. But I guess there are worse things than that. So, you're also noticing right about now, there's like 6 of us shooting the wyverns out of the sky. When you shoot them out of the sky, they are just terrible. Now, I don't know why mine decided to aim low like that, but there are worse things. And Slash, this one is like the ultimate at dodging everything. You'll notice he does like a little beeline, changes his beeline, and all that kind of stuff. I hit him that time. I saw it hit him, but oh well, you know, to each their own. That wyvern's just chilling on the inside, and finally we get him down, and we're kind of just waiting. Now this is where it gets difficult, because those guys do the 10% damage, which can be problematic, obviously, because fire, no matter what you do, does a certain percentage of your damage. Now, that's why fire can be so devastating in this game. Now, obviously you see those things are now dead, but if you only had a couple of Giganotosaurus, it can be a pain in the butt to get them, especially if they're avoiding Gigas. Again, I apologize, still a little bit sick, but oh well. There was a little like Dimorphodon that was hitting me, so I tried to knock it, and it ended up running away. We get it back later, though. Now, again, it's when you have this much raw power when you're doing one of these OSDs, it's pretty neato. Because, I mean, you got 4 dudes on Giganotosaurus, and we've got 5 on Reapers at this moment, and there's a dude, you can hear him damaging the drop down there. Oh well, there are worse things. But, again, you really have nothing to concern yourself with unless people with better Giganotosaurus just come over for you, because then you're just hosed. We soaked them for a little bit later, but yeah, obviously it didn't last very long. You see this dude just jump over me on this Red Reaper, but oh well. Now, again, this is the hardest part of the entire boss fight. We're just sitting here waiting for the last couple. I want to say this was wave 3, so this is like the biggest pain in the butt part. Now, when we do finally beat this, we end up getting some pretty good loot. We get a really good sword, actually, which was nice. The sword that we ended up getting, I noticed that I'm just biting these Giganotosaurus. He bites me a couple of times, and I take like almost no damage. Now, one thing to think about as well is when you're doing these, try and split the loot evenly, because obviously me riding around on my Reaper, we're pretty new to MTS, and these guys also split it very well, because they're like, yo, we don't need this, so we kind of like got appropriate loot percentages. I got a really good tech sword that I'll probably be never able to make, but it's really nice. It's got like 150% damage or something like that, and it's a journeyman, so it's decently cheap. But still, probably never going to be able to afford it. But man, wouldn't that be sick if I could? Now you can see me going around up here. I'm just looking for the last couple of tames, because that's, again, the biggest pain in the butt part of this is looking for the other tames. Again, why Reapers are useful, because if you run a Giga up here, it's going to take you a little while to get back safely. Whereas a Reaper can just jump. Pretty safely, mind you. They lose very minimal health when they jump, which is kind of cool. Now, you can see we finally locate the Stega that was somewhere stuck, and he's tostado. Now, we don't really care about damaging each other because Reapers do so little damage to each other that it's not even funny. But it's a pretty cool sight. Just some crazy, crazy tames here. I just go back, like, now, like, looking at this video, look how pretty some of these dinos are. Just like that blue, the red, the orange, the white, the cyan. It's just, I don't know, I just find that stuff kind of cool. Another cool thing is the wyvern we actually bring in. It's kind of like a bluish color. It is an electric wyvern, but Super pretty. Now, again, still just hunting that last couple of tames. I'm pretty sure this is the trike that I end up killing. It has part to do with the boss fight because it's just like stuck on a rock somehow. And, well, that's what happens. Now, fortunately, we don't lose any Reapers when we do get trolled. I will bring that up. But we do... Whoa. I don't know if you guys just saw that, but the Spino just, like, teleported on top of the drop. Didn't really make sense, but oh well. I think we have one left. Yeah, one left. Wave 3. The last two go pretty quickly, though, which is obviously a good thing. Now, we actually accidentally start the element vein that's next to us. You'll see it like kind of like glowing in the distance. And at this point, we're just, you know, messing around. Just for funsies. But Reapers do lock things in place, which is really nice. You're seeing us lock that Giga in place, which is fortunate for us. We end up locking the dudes that are trolling us, but when they do that much damage, there's no running. You just die. You know, the one thing they really do need to fix is they do have to fix at some point in time this lack of tames making it to the drop because they get stuck on things. Like, there's got to be some sort of AI system that you can use in order to, like, prevent this. I don't think we ever killed anything. It just, like, despawned or something like that. You see, I see the Enraged Trike, and I'm like, yeah, no thanks. Not on a Reaper. They wouldn't do too much damage to me. But Enraged Strikes are no bueno, because they do some serious damage to the drop. So, I kind of just go over there to support the other Giganotosaurus. That one makes it through, sadly. And we are just sitting here trying to smoke these things. You'll see me knock a couple out of the sky. And really, the dragons, if you can knock them out quick, they are really effective to... it's really nice to just have them gone. Because then you're just focused on ground tames. And it makes everything so much easier. You see the Enraged Trike. He's kind of just like hanging over there. I'm playing support role right now because I'm just saying nothing gets to the middle. And I don't know how I missed that wyvern, but I will admit that I did miss him somehow. You can see that these guys are kind of just like, okay, what is going on here? Well, we basically just want to protect as much as possible. As far as I'm aware, quote me if I'm wrong, it does not matter. No matter how much damage the drop takes, you get the same amount of loot no matter what. Or at least as long as the drop survives, that's all that matters. Now, I just want to show you that part right there because I was getting hit, stepped on, and everything by that Giganotosaurus and slapped by Reaper and all these things. This entire fight, for 5 or 6 waves, whatever it technically is, being bit by Giganotosaurus, other Reapers, damaged by the Corrupted, and all of these things, I took less damage than I did in 5 seconds of fighting the other 2 Giganotosaurus. In my opinion, Giganotosaurus need to either be removed from the game or somehow a nerf needs to be placed on it because it's just like, that's what people do. They just sit there. They pocket Giga you, which just means they take a cryopod when they're close to you, throw out their Giganotosaurus, and just run you over. Like, at a certain point, it just comes down to the... I mean, it ruins it for people that just want to play for fun. Like me, I'm more of a casual player. But it's kind of hard when you can't really play casually because of this kind of stuff. Now, we are going for the drop, so like I'll keep focusing on that. I know I keep getting distracted, but it's just like my thing. Because like, yeah, I get it. They should be in the game, but the amount of power that they have, like, it does not matter what you attack them with, they win. Like a full, like the best Rhino in the game right now has no chance because there's also so many glitches you can use for a Reaper. I mean, not a Reaper, but a Giganotosaurus. You can throw it out, and there's a way to prevent, I guess, literally prevent the rage, which is just OP. It's unfair. That should not be able to happen. Now, I understand that they should be in the game, and they should be able to like one-tap some things. But there's got to be a way to counter them. Like, the only way to counter Gigas at this moment in time is to be on the Aberration map, and I think that's just ridiculous. Because why would... you literally have to change maps in order to avoid it. Like, I won't be on normal maps right now because these Giganotosauruses that people are pumping out are just better. They really are. It's something that I don't know. And maybe it's just my personal opinion, but I don't know. You guys have to tell me what you think about it as well. Because it's just, whatever, I guess. We've only got 2 hostiles remaining, and again, here's the pain in the butt part. Finding the leftover hostiles. Thankfully, Reapers are fast, so we get to deal with them pretty quickly. Man, look at these Reapers, though. They're so pretty looking. Man, that's cool. So we got 1 left. Just looking for it. And we're trying to defend that drop at the same time, which is kind of cool. And you'll notice that we zoom in. And go ahead and smoke that bad boy over there. And then we're trying to defend both. Probably a bit much, but oh well. There are worse things. It's free element, you can't complain. And doing that cost us this. So, now we are currently just trying to figure out this right now. Come on. There he goes. Now he wants to jump. And you will see, we're just really playing defense against the flyers on the inside here. That was what we were told to do. Just let the Giganotosaurus do what they can out there, and then we kind of play defense on the inside. I don't know why my thing shot like out in the middle of nowhere out there. But I did start smoking some wyverns from a distance, which was kind of cool. Like, right there, I hit that one. What a cool shot. And they just like fly in coasting format to the ground. Now, tons of stuff is happening right now, and I know it's kind of like crazy, but it is pretty neato. So, now, the Paraceratheriums do a lot of damage to the drop, so if you can prevent them from getting in the middle, that's always a good call. Which is why we have these gates up, because it can be kind of hard to pick them off of the drops. But we did pretty well. Now, the Dimorphodons, hard to see, but they do get in the drops sometimes. You want to be careful about them. Now, we have pretty much dealt with all the super dangerous stuff, so now it just comes down to literally waiting on the stuff that's hanging around. And I'll show you the loot that we get. It's pretty good loot. It's like really good stuff. But it's just nuts. Like, I think we got, and mind you, this is a red drop, so we should be getting pretty good loot. But we get like 50 walls, all kinds of stuff like that. And again, we're just trying to defend 2 drops at the same time. And at this moment, we start to realize that someone's flying around above us. And we look up and realize there's a gas bag hovering around us. So we're just like, go ahead, come at us. And they have started that drop accidentally, so we're just sitting over here waiting for the hostiles to die on this side. And like I projected, our hostiles from this side were actually attacking the drop over there, which is kind of funny. But we smoked it pretty well. I'm just dropping some weight off. 3 remaining. Now, as we sit here, we're just hanging, and the warriors, everyone's starting to talk in chat. I should have realized that this was a problem at this moment in time, because, well, when people start to talk in chat, it typically means there's a lot of people left. You can see, there it is. OSD has been complete. We had 1 person from each of the tribes. Go ahead and start to take care of it. I bury the Reaper. We should have just buried the loot inside of the Reaper, but we got a little bit, not necessarily cocky, but we did what we could. I start emptying all of my loot inside so I can grab some things, because the worst thing that you can do is just miss stuff. Now, I will wait and show you it, but as we start to pick things up, you'll see me get some pretty good stuff. It does destroy everything nearby. Now, I got a bunch of metal walls, and I was like, wow, that's helpful. Thank you so much, game. And nothing super great on that time around. I just dropped the walls, but you can see that tech sword is super pretty. 127%, I think. Is that, yeah, 127%. So not a bad one. I like compound bows, so I happily picked that bad boy up, and that was our loot. So it really is that easy to run one of these guys, and you don't really need to worry about too much more. Well, anyways, hopefully this helps you guys out, and if you don't mind, let me know what you liked about the video, or if you're like, hey, you should change this, so on and so forth, let me know. All right, Teacher's Game 2, out.